Hello and welcome to Generation Internet, a podcast where we talk to individuals who are using the internet in a creative way to make something of themselves. My name's Brad, and my co-host Gemma and I will be speaking to different people each episode in order to find out about their entrepreneurial journey so far and their aspirations for the future.
On this episode, we've invited Lily Maria, a law student and YouTuber who has gained over 1,000 subscribers since starting her channel in the summer lockdown. We chat about starting out on social media, setting achievable goals, and the dangers of being a content creator online.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I've been so nervous, but hello.
Don't worry.
Oh, when, even like if I'm going into a seminar, I'm like, okay, join the seminar, and it's like a classroom. But I just get I don't know what it is about Zoom. I'm like stage fright with the screen.
No, literally,
I
that's
get the
exactly
same
what
as
I
well.
was saying. Yeah. So,
Weird to meet you actually,
Oh.
finally,
I know.
because I've been watching your videos.
I get so excited. Someone actually messaged me on LinkedIn. Like, hi, I like your videos. I was like, oh my God,
Really?
this is hilarious. It is fun. Because do you know what's weird? When I get a dislike, I'm like, that means someone other than my friends are watching it. So I think it's a good thing. Because
Oh, yeah.
I still feel like it's just people I know. So I'm like, wait, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Even if they don't like it, it's just fine.
Some of your videos are like really high in views, aren't they?
It's normally the hair ones. They love a good hair vid.
Is it?
Because it's what's searchable. Like, because if people want to make a YouTube to actually like start and get a career and stuff, it's better to do searchable videos. Like the ratio is something like 3 videos that are searchable, 1 video you want to do over like however much your upload span is, like whether that's within a month or something. But because I just post whatever, if it happens to be searchable, then it will do a bit better. I hit 10k in one. Ooh.
Oh yeah, we saw.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We were checking it out earlier.
Yeah, see, that's
It's impressive.
it just depends on what is trending at the moment. Like I was making like rubbish rings. I've only got one of the clay ones on now, and that's not up yet, but I was making it. But then this one like person that I'm kind of like I follow, and she has similar like she's on like 2k, but her video blew up when she normally gets the same amount of views as me, and she was in like way into like 30k. I think she's on like 70 now, and she had no idea. Like she was just making the rings. So it just depends on what people want. Like the narcissist, when I had my hair blonde underneath, dark on the top, it was like on TikTok, like people dyeing their hair like the mouth ones. So that you just get, it just depends, but it's not intentional or anything with me. So I just feel blessed when I get when I see a K, I'm like, yes.
Like dance around your room, like.
Yeah, literally. Because I think as well, the percentage of viewers is like 60% not subscribed. So that's obviously normally when it gets a bit higher, but then again the normal videos I make, which will hit about 400 500, which is like less than half of the actual sub count. So it's such a weird algorithm. I don't know how it works.
It seems to be working though on some of your vids, so that's pretty good. But you have said as well that it's for you it's not all about the numbers, or at least to begin with it was more about just having a creative outlet and stuff like that.
Sure.
Do you think that's changed a bit after like a few months of seeing the numbers get up?
That's the thing. That is what it is, man. You know, and it's almost I need to listen to my own advice, because I'm still checking YouTube Studio. And the other day I saw the number go down 1, and I was like, even though it could be bots, but there's something about an unsubscribe. It's like, ooh, this early on, ooh, you know, hopping off the bandwagon so soon. But I think you're right. It has changed a bit. I mean, I think I said it in my literal first video, that it's always a way, like when I perform, so I like did Amdram all through my like growing up. But if we did like, let's say if we were doing a panto, the actual rehearsals and the show itself would have been so fun, because panto's hilarious, it's fun, it's like festive. But if we got out there and the audience, you know, you could see empty seats, it was awful feeling. Even though, you know, you're there to perform regardless. I could perform to a blank, like Strictly and that, they're performing to an empty kind of, I could do that. And it's the camaraderie and the actual performing element that you do it for, but you don't want to perform to an empty auditorium. And I think that's the kind of concept that I've done this by, that if video doesn't do well, sometimes now I'm like, oh shit. Like at the start, I didn't know what doing well was. And obviously people were like, not nosy, that sounds negative, but like friends or old schoolmates that are like, oh my God, Lily's posting on YouTube. I think that's embarrassing, I'll watch. So that's one of my first video when I didn't even have 100 subs. Got like 1k within a week, because it's people wanting to see like what we're doing, which is fine, because it you know, it makes your first video do well. My friend started a YouTube channel, her first video did well straight away. She's only just hit 100 subs, and she's on like upwards of 2,000 views on that, because people are like, it is a bit of nosiness and intrigue, which I like. But yeah, it's more so now, like, which video did not do that well? I can't remember. It was a uni advice video that I posted when I was still up at Liverpool, because I've been home for ages, and that didn't do very well. It's like one of my lowest viewed ones, but that would never have normally bothered me. But then at the time, like a couple of weeks later, I was thinking, that's a shame, like I thought that video would have done better. And it's weird, I don't know how to not, there's sometimes, especially if you put effort into it, although it's not like I massively, it wasn't like a really coolly edited or something like that, but it is weird which ones do well and don't. And then sometimes, like my tattoo video that I made, that I did it more of like a presentation, I knew that one wouldn't have done as well, because it's not, if people don't know me, it's not as clickable as like an actual tattoo vlog. But I knew that going in, so then in my head it actually did a bit better than I expected, even though it's still one of my lowest views, if that actually makes any sense. It's all about perspective, and it's hard to kind of gauge. But you are right, I do care more about the numbers now.
Do you ever change like the stuff that you make to make it more like, you're thinking ahead, oh, I really want to do this video, but if I did it in this slightly different way, then you think it would get more views, or you think it would get more like subscribers out of it and that sort of thing?
Definitely. I wasn't going to bleach my hair yet. I thought, no, everyone was saying, no, Lil, we really like it dark. And all I could think of was, it'll make good content for sure. So I just did it too early. And same with clothes. Like my bank is very much in the minus. And in my head, I'm still like, oh, I can justify buying these clothes because I can make it into a haul. So stuff like that, definitely. And like, for example, if I'm in the middle of filming just a normal video and I go to mess up, normally you'd think, oh, like, oh, I'll just edit that out. Or I'll like, oh, like I've said the wrong words, or I've confused what I've said. But you think, oh, actually, that could make a good edit. Like, the whole, because you zoom in, you take the piss out yourself. I sometimes will not so quickly brush over a mistake, because I could maybe like embellish it, if that makes sense. So
almost make it into like a B-roll sort of thing.
Yeah, like make it more of a mistake than it actually is. Like it which is, a little bit catfishy. But that's the thing. If you think, oh, I'm going to slip up, like it's more of a kind of twisting things rather than like making a whole different aspect of it. Because, for example, the tattoo one that I did more of a presentation, that was something that I wanted to do rather than that wouldn't have got views. But it's more of a manipulating what I'm going to do anyway. Like the hair video, bringing that forward, or like embellishing something that's gone wrong.
Yeah. So it's not like it's not you. It's not like it's not you. You're going to do it anyway, but you're just doing it in a way which is more useful for the views.
And I think you can tell sometimes, and this is not in like a judgy way, this is because there's some YouTubers that are so like informative and very, very professional. Like if you watch like people that are more devoted to like school, for example, you might be able to tell whether they're trying to make something more like that they've messed up when they haven't, like with editing. Sometimes it works. Like, I don't know if you watch Eve Cornwell or if you've heard of her. Yeah, she does that. She's got an incredible balance because she's so intelligent, which isn't like a magic circle firm, but she is so likable and funny. And there's just finding that balance of making it actually you, like you said. And I worry sometimes if I've over edited, I don't want people to think like it's inauthentic. So it's finding that balance actually, which is quite hard.
No, I think you do it well though, because and that's what makes people want to watch your videos anyway, because if it was like regurgitated rubbish that you could find anywhere else without that personality element, then there'd be no point. So I think it's good that you keep those parts in,
because that's the thing. I'm not at all calling myself an influencer, but you can still get picked up on things this early in the game. Like if you look at big TikTokers now, I'm not saying that I have any controversial tweets, or that I hope. I've always been a loudmouth like on big politics. I'm hoping it would have always been on the right side of it. But you can find like Jack Maynard tweeted something like very minorly offensive. I remember it when he was 14, and he didn't know that his brother was going to become Conor Maynard and that he would be Jack Maynard. And you just got to be careful, because if I make a comment on like, oh, that was what a shite, imagine going to uni and getting 53, like if I'd said something like that, and in the future you never know what happens, you just got to be so careful, like with because you don't want to upset people. And it's not me saying like, oh, you don't know who's going to get offended. It's not me. I don't mean that. It's like I'd be heartbroken if I upset someone. It's just awful. You just got to be so careful.
How do you feel about the whole YouTube thing in terms of like what they might think of it? Do they know about it? Have you spoke to someone there about it, or are you worried that they're going to see it and have an issue with it or anything like that? Have you thought about that before?
I have a little bit. It's more of the, am I going to be doing YouTube when I'm there? because I kind of think of how is that going to work at a full-time job. But obviously I have got like over a year till I'll be physically an office woman. But I do worry because I have said their name a couple of times, and that's the one thing I am worried about, because I gas them up like free promo, but I swear. Other than that, I think I'm quite like PG, like family friendly, but it is the swearing and maybe like the fact that I look a bit rough and ready in some of my vlogs and stuff like that. But I do worry, and I almost feel like I've just kind of out of sight, out of mind. But it is something that I'm going to have to kind of consider. But luckily, it's not like I'm like a story time YouTuber when I'm telling the time that I got blackout drunk and like fell off a pier or something like that. So, you know, like if I was a Tana Mojo kind of YouTuber. Yeah. Luckily, I wish I had crazy life stories, but I don't. And I think as soon as I graduate, when I'm no longer like a student, and I'm almost, it's like if I was at high school and we were at the train station and we were messing about the train station, our teachers would be like, you're representing your school. I feel like as soon as I'm actually, you know, a student and then like associated with, then I might actually have to reach out and see, because I'd rather, you know, nip it in the bud, or like me be proactive rather than get an email about it.
Yeah, you
do you know what I mean? Like if they say,
like a year's time,
get caught out, even though I can't think of anything that I could be caught out for bar my language, which I physically don't think I don't mean to, I just don't realise. It's almost like I don't have very like broad vocabulary, but I think I'd rather reach out. It's similar, like I'm a bit scared to reach out, but I want to know their policies on tattoos, because I have a few and I need to know where I need to stop getting them. Because I already have, like, I have one here and one here, which is a bit naughty, but it's almost like in my head I'm thinking, why would I want to be in a company that doesn't want their faculty to have tattoos? Like, what if, you know, someone was, this is not me, but someone could be a natural, like, commercial real estate lawyer, the best in the UK, and what, is a client going to look down on them, or is the company going to look down on them because they have a flower on their shoulder? That's what also, you know, bills to pay, career to progress. I've got to be careful, and I'm just too scared to take that jump to ask. But that's another thing that I'm gonna have to consider. And also that means no more tattoo vlogs if that's the case, which me faves, they are. But it's an addicting thing to get. So no, I do need to look into that, because I worry that you don't want to shit on a brand, as I've just sworn again. But then if you look at Eve Cornwell, I'm pretty sure she's probably sworn before. Her vlogs are quite casual, and she's actually made videos with, is it Linklaters she's with?
Yeah, she's at Linklaters.
So it just depends. I think, yeah, I might have to be proactive with it, like you suggested, and am I going to speak to them about it?
I don't think they would have an issue, but it's probably best just to make sure.
Yeah, there could be guidelines, you know. They might even say, let's do a video together. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just maybe if there's any anonymity with it, like they don't want me to say certain things. I don't know. I should look into that. Outside of mind, that's the only thing I've been like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, you get over that hurdle when you come to it. Like,
yeah, literally, that's a future Lily problem.
Literally.
I kind of I disclose my presence on social media, and I use it. I kind of lead with it almost, because I try and make any positive out of being addicted to my phone, which this kind of is the only positive. So you're right, they might have come across it, they might have, because it's not like, I think if you type, even though my YouTube name is my middle name, I think it's very easily like tied to me, obviously. And I think I've put it on my LinkedIn, actually. What am I even talking? It's on my LinkedIn. God knows.
Definitely
honestly.
seen it there.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
You may as well put anything on your CV, it doesn't matter.
I think it's a good thing anyway.
Yeah. That's the thing. Oh, I had a little blog for a time as well. Whack that on there. But yeah, I forgot that it's on my LinkedIn. Maybe I should not have that on there.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's like an entrepreneur thing where you're like, oh yeah, I'm marketing myself. I'm doing all this stuff.
True.
Right?
Yeah, monetization's a weird one, actually. That's a weird one. Because that's similar to what you asked at the start. Yeah, like I never bothered about it. It was never ever about the money, because it's so, when you see the numbers to start off with what you have to get, it's seemingly very unattainable, and it still is. Almost like I've made like 30 odd videos, and let's say if obviously the subscribers fine, it's 1,000, so that was amazing when I hit that. But it's always been the watch hours, it's been on the back of my mind, like I'm not going to hit that. But it's kind of, it's not about that. My only thing that I've said to myself, like time wise, is if I don't hit, because it's 4,000 watch hours, right?
Okay.
And I'm on 2,500, so I'm over halfway, which is a good thing, because it was 6 months when I hit 1,000, which I thought was a really cool milestone, like half a year after starting. And it was around then that I actually hit the 2,000 watch hours. So it's like a nice happy medium. But in my head, I'm thinking, if by June this year, if I'm like, the growth is still really slow and I'm not monetized, I'll just have to kind of mentally not prioritize it as much. Like, I don't want to give it up because it's not been about the money. But for example, if I'm trying to study, or I'm getting ready to study, or if, let's say if I'm getting a part-time job in that little time off I have before my SQE, then I'll just have to make sure I'm not prioritizing or putting in too much effort or actually money into something and not getting it out. It's just more of a trying to make an adulty decision.
Yeah.
But it's fourth. I get why, because they can't stop paying everyone for ads. But it's quite a difficult one. I think you need one video to essentially blow up to like the 50k range to kind of just get those watch hours done. And that's how some people can get monetized within 3 months. So they make one video that just go, like, it might take them longer to actually get the subs, which for me was obviously quicker. It just depends. It's such a weird algorithm to crack that even people like Zoella haven't quite cracked it still. But they're sitting pretty in their, home built mansion in Brighton. So
What were your, like, were you nervous to start? Because it hasn't been that long. It's, what's it, 6 months or something, or 8 months since you started your channel?
Oh God, it is 8 months now, Well, around, because it was 6 months on 21st of December. So, that's 2 months have gone quick. But you know what? It kind of was and wasn't. I think I've always been like a bit gobby, shock, and like kind of a theatre kid is how you could like describe my kind of annoying energy, which I'll embrace that because I have performed since I was like 4. But there's something about the separation with it being in my head. It's always high school. Like if I'm talking to someone that's 21, I'm like, oh, they're the year above. And we're literally in 3rd year of uni. And in my head, I'm still like, oh yeah, year above, year below. It's almost weird that my mind always resorts back to that. So that was the kind of thing for me, was anyone that in the past that I've ever not liked me or something like that, or even after post high school, people in like, because I live in a small town, there's like small towns adjacent to me, and you do worry. It's that's worrying. It's not like what a stranger from Kent is going to say about my videos. It's the kind of people that aren't like my friends but that I definitely know. That's what was off-putting. But I think because I've always been so present on social media, my Twitter is notoriously the worst platform in the world, because I'm not so much anymore because I like deactivated my old Twitter, but I used to absolutely shit post constantly. I still kind of do, but like I was almost it notorious annoyance. So it was like less scary than I think it could be for some people. And I'm very like vain on my Instagram, but like it's fun. I think it's an outlet, and that's kind of what in my head I was like, screw it, what is the difference really? And it's kind of been rewarding in the sense that people have, which is so lovely to hear, people have said that I'm quite natural in front of the camera, like they wouldn't have expected that haven't done this before, if that makes sense. But I think that's genuinely because I talk to myself. So, or on Snapchat, if I bought something, unfortunately my friends are going to get a feature-length video of me showing them everything. And I think that came from my like performing as a young'un. So as soon as after the first video, people say, like, people have actually point blank said to my face, when I saw you making a YouTube channel, like I was thinking, oh my God, what is she doing? What, she's going to be a fool. But then somehow they thought, oh wait, she's actually kind of it's not cringy, even though to me it still is. And I don't even mind people saying that to my face, because you can't please everyone, and people still going to people still are going to think it's cringe, which is totally fine, because even I, like when my mom watches it in the lounge, I have to leave the room. I can't.
Oh, that's so cute.
It does cringe me out. But then when I'm here watching myself while I'm editing, it doesn't bother me. But as soon as someone else is in the room and I'm hearing my voice, oh God, it's awful. But no, I wasn't scared. It was more of I was actually kind of happy with it. It was a push. I just wish I'd actually done it earlier. I really do.
Really?
Now, yeah, for sure. Not even
like your parents.
Like earlier when I was younger, but then I would have been scared. I think I've kind of come into a place where it's almost like I don't care.
Yeah.
And I've never massively not cared what people think, but I know if I'd done this in year 10, oh my God, I'd have deleted my account. One bad word from someone at school, I've been like, nah, I'm off. But now it doesn't get to me. Weirdly, that sounds so like blowing a trumpet, but I am at a place where I'm scared. which is good. Start a YouTube channel. I say it to everyone. I'm like, it's daunting. It would be for anyone. Like, but that fear was like gone pretty much straight away. I think I kind of I do, because I just chat absolute gas constantly. So it's almost, I have no time to be scared. It's just it's me chatting shit all the time.
Yeah.
And whatever fear you did have, it wasn't really from close friends or family. It was more fear of those other people that you, like acquaintances, seeing it, but you weren't really bothered about what your family would think or what your friends would think or anything like that. Was you comfortable with what they would think already, or did you speak to them before you started it? Or
yeah, see, it sounds like I'm saying, I don't value their opinions, which I totally do, but I know full well that, let's say, like, if one friend thought that it was a bit cringy and they might have told me, that's totally fine, because some people just don't enjoy YouTube point blank. Like my friend Ari, he does not really watch YouTube of my kind at all, but he said he goes on and he likes a video and clicks straight off. That's what I mean. I think I completely value their opinion, and I spoke to some people that are on the same wavelength, because there's people that don't enjoy YouTube and they'd still support me, whatever, but I wouldn't ask their opinion on whether I should have started when that's not their forte. Like, I asked my friend Lucy, again, that's the girl that started her channel now. She's a fashion communication promotion major at Nottingham Trent. She's got an eye for things like that. We have a similar eye. She's got incredible fashion, just gorgeous. So her that is an opinion that I would hugely value. And of course she was, yes, do it. And I think that's the thing. I didn't have any friends that were like, no. I think they know what I'm like, that I'm a bit of an attention whore. And they would just knew, they were like, yes, of course you should do this. And like, they used to say it as a joke. Like, if I would on my Snapchat, they'd be like, oh my God, subscribe. Like we would do it as a joke. Like, I'd be like 3,000 thumbs up and I'd do another. Like, it would always be kind of a running joke. So then when I was considering it, I was like, wait, why don't I actually do it? And it is, like you said, it's that one weird circle of people that I did get a bit scared about. It wasn't the general public and it wasn't people close to me. It was like, Jason, you see at the pub every time you go to X town, that's going to think, what is she doing? But no one said it to my face. They might have said it behind my back, but if that means that their other friend will think, oh God, what's she doing? Let's watch. It's a view. It's a view. So I don't mind. That's what it is. I think if you're scared, channel it into, well, if they're watching to take the piss, they're still watching. Which I never thought of it like that. Like, if someone took the piss out of my Instagram, that's different. Like, I'd be a bit like, oh no. Like, even now, I think I'd probably still be like, that's a bit peak. But there's something about the YouTube that it's a view. One press on the video is a view. So that's just how you look at it, really.
I think once you do hit that 4,000 view point as well, and you get the ads on and stuff, and you can start seeing like some money coming in from it, your opinion on that will just like change completely as well. Like, you probably won't even think about it or worry about people like negative comments or anything like that. Definitely.
I think, unfortunately, even though as much as people don't want to admit it, or I don't want to admit it, the monetary mark is quite it is almost a huge checkpoint, and it is a little bit of a big kind of fu to anyone that was embarrassed, which is annoying, because you shouldn't put worth in money, and I don't. But it's inevitable that, let's say I do get that 4,000 watch hours, and I do, like you said, I do start getting ads. It will be like, whoa, even the people that still don't like it, I think, well, props to it. Like, if I watch a TikTok and I think it's like, because oh my God, I'm obsessed. Or like, for example, like the big TikTokers like Dixie D'Amelio releasing music, that kind of pop music isn't my thing. But oh my God, she's in her bag. She's getting to produce music. Like, she worked with Wiz Khalifa, was it? And like,
and Liam Payne.
Oh, that sent me west. I could not believe that. I was very jealous. But do you know what I mean? Like, even if she couldn't sing, and I think some videos, controversial for maybe not being as like, people's style or the auto-tune, who cares? Because I think that is incredible. But then there's some TikTokers, like the fact that I know all their names, I could tell you their backstories, like Nessa Barrett. Her songs are amazing. Her voice is incredible. She sounds like Billie Eilish, and she still gets hate. But my God, the bag she must be in, it's just incredible. So what, like, as soon as, unfortunately, money is a bit of an indicator that it is a bit of a, like, I don't care if you hate it, because I've got a little bag, a little YouTube check coming in every month. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. It is. I think my perspective will change even more to a I don't care kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Get me to that
If you could
4,000
get-
watch hours then.
If you
Put
could
it on
get to that
repeat.
point straight away where you were getting something from it and it didn't seem like you were just putting videos out there with nothing coming back, then it would be like, yeah, you wouldn't worry about it at all. You'd be like, yeah, but I'm getting money from it anyway. So it's easier then to be like that. But like to put videos out there and content and put yourself out there and not actually get much back from it, just for not for nothing, but you're not getting any money basically back
I totally
from it.
do
Then
get what you mean.
you've got to be brave to do that anyway in the first place. So when you
I
do
agree.
eventually get to that point, it's a big
Worth it.
Yeah.
A relief. Yeah, I think, and that's another reason I think why they don't let you kind of get ads so soon on, because there'll be people that will try and they'll get these ads straight away, and then because YouTube makes the money from these creators as well, obviously. So if these people are kind of doing it for a bit of a cop out and then leaving the platform, it doesn't look good for YouTube either, or the ads that they're working with. So I think it's almost, you do have to like work hard to get something from it, which is like anything, but sometimes it feels a bit strenuous. Like I think like it is putting a lot in, and I almost want to invest more into it. But I've got to think, I can't, like, for example, if I want to buy something or if I wanted to do another haul, I have to kind of I really do have to try and stop myself, because yes, it's good content, but I have got to be kind of logical with where I am, like financially and time wise. I can't keep doing all these videos and buying these things when I've got a degree to focus on. I've got a bank to fill up into the positive. But it's a shame almost sometimes, and I want to immerse myself into it, but I have got to prioritize. And unfortunately, I have not. Well, it's fortunately for the YouTube, but sometimes I do prioritize YouTube when I kind of shouldn't. But it's hard because I want to. Unfortunately, obviously, like law is my career, and that's great, but especially because I do get to have the almost dramatic flair with it, because I think that's just me as a person is more dramatic. It's not like I'm posting like singing videos, or I can't sing, but it's not like I'm posting like self-tape acting. Like it's not like that, but it's just something, like you said, it's just an outlet, which is a shame that you can't get something from it straight away. But like you said, it's almost like it builds character that I've had to post and not get anything in the tangible sense back yet. But so I hadn't thought about it like that. Maybe
when you do start getting something back, then like whatever, you won't feel so bad about investing more into it. Whatever you're getting from it, you can just invest back into it. So
you'll see it as a business expense rather than just
well, that's the thing, but which I had no idea, which is so cool. People, obviously I'm talking to people that are on thousands, hundreds of thousands. They can, like, you do then get to claim things on expenses. Like you can do like an ASOS haul and you can get some money back and claim on expenses because it is full content. So it is cool. And I think you've got to kind of look, my goals are more attainable, but I do try and look into the future and think, okay, but it might make up for it, in X, Y, Z.
Yeah. What sort of goals do you have for your channel or for your social media generally?
I think I try and do it in steps. Like my current goal that I'm on, which I've met for one of them, it was to reach 2,500 watch hours, which I've hit. It was I think it was the 20th of March, so I'm ahead of that, which is so cool. But it was then 1,200 subs, which I'm on that's 200, because I'm on like 1,000, and I didn't expect to hit it soon, and I'm already on like 1,190. So I try and keep it small and keep it like different steps. Like my main goal when I started it was to hit 1,000 by December the 21st and 2,000 watch hours, and I literally hit it on the 20th of December, so like right the day before, which was so good. So hopefully, I might start making them a little bit more, overzealous, but aim high. But also I don't want to risk feeling like, what's the word, like disheartened if I don't hit it. Again, I keep looking to that yearly mark, that if I'm not on 2,000, then the growth will have actually slowed down, which is not normal. Like normally the growth improves, and if it's going on a decrease, I kind of have to revisit my strategy, I suppose. And if I'm not, also if you're not monetized by a year, you start again. You have to get 4,000 watch hours in 12 months.
Oh, I see.
So that's actually almost like there is a time element to it. So that's not even me being like a money grabber. That's actually how it is. It's if you literally, oh God, even if I'm a day over, if I hit 4,000 watch hours on like June, from the first video, like the first like count of the watch hours, June the 22nd, you start again. But then again, you look at the flip side, oh, she's already got 2,000 subscribers by then, so you know you might get it, but it would be disheartening to not do that. So that's why I'm trying to keeping it in this 12-month bracket of by June, if I'm not on XYZ, I need to revisit my approach and make it more of a hobby, because it started as a hobby, then it's progressed into more of a, even like I'm putting more, it's still a hobby, like by the literal sense, but a lot more effort, prioritization and stuff going into it. But then obviously if I'm by the year mark and we're still not, you know, making money moves, I'm going to have to rethink it again and, you know, just revise different things. But I think now that you've asked my goals, I might revisit them like now and make more of a standalone goal that's a bit sooner than the year mark, and maybe by the kind of 9-month point, if I've got 3 months left, what do I need to change? So I think the best way for someone so early on is do it like in sections. I can't think of an actual word for that, but in steps rather than huge goals of 10k by 2023, because it's just there's more to it than that, and it's a little bit more nuanced than kind of just gaining this. It's hard, it's weird. I need to crack the algorithm. We'll get there one day.
Because there's a lot of life to live between, like, for example, like what you're saying with setting a goal for 2023. In 2023, we don't even know what the state of the world's going to be, so how can you possibly have a goal which is for that?
And you don't know what your growth is going to be, because there's this one YouTuber, Kelly Stamps, her name is, she's so unique. I've never even met a human being like her, and I know I haven't met her, but she is so unique. I've never met someone so confident in themselves in the most classy way, and she's just so cool. I can't remember the dates, but she kind of got her first like blow up in May of 2020. I think she hit like 5k. She's on almost 500,000 subscribers now. Not even a year later, she was just blown up like different times. You look, because she has it in her description of every video, her like milestones. And if you look from the 5,000 mark, and then she hit like 100k, like about 2 months later, like it was insane. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but do you know what I mean? Like if she'd have said, oh, I want to hit 10k by next year, she was on 150k by that time. The algorithm is crazy, but she is honestly so unique. So I'm so glad that that is a good example of people that if they want to start now as a career, she's the person to look at. She started so late in the game, and Olivia Neal, and these like women have just skyrocketed, and it is very, very impressive. And that's the people you want to look at. And she does videos on that. She said, if you've not got it, you've not got it, and this isn't the platform for you. She's very blunt about it. And I'm not saying I do have it, but she's saying that to people that want to start a career on the platform. So it's incredible to see how people grow, and I just can't work out how they do it. I don't think anyone knows really how the algorithm works, but once you get it, you just get it. So that's why it's hard like to plan in advance, because you don't know if you're going to get it or when. It's weird.
I've seen where some I can't remember the name of this YouTuber, but it's like they were making content for a while, putting out videos that were getting not a lot of views, and then as soon as one blew up and people came to the page, they could see all their old content, and then they all sort of just blew up all the videos. So it's good that you're like putting so many videos. Is it still every Sunday or something you put
every video? Sunday with a cheeky little midweek if I've got one. Like my ring video is going to be a little midweek next week. That's the thing they say you should be doing. That's another thing they say, if you want to grow career-wise, it should be 2 videos a week. But let's say if I was taking a gap year, then I could do that. But I like unfortunately being a law student is, you know, that's the job description number 1. And that's what you have to kind of prioritize. But it is cool. If you look at like big YouTubers now and you go back to their first videos where there's a couple thousand, and it's obviously fans or supporters that have gone back to binge them, whereas they probably had 400 views, like now where they're getting regularly like 100,000. So it is cool, and it's good. That's another thing. It is good to have like a backlog of videos, and it is nice. And I think there's something that honestly feel like it's so like borderline emotional, but when I get a message of people saying or a comment that's like, and every single comment is like incredible, like even if someone's like this vid, I just love it, and I think it makes me so happy. But then when someone goes like out their way, like I remember names as well. If like there's this one girl who commented on so many of my vids regularly, like especially the early ones. Her name was Sophie Coles. I don't know where she's from or who she is at all, but you just remember these like early on. And like the couple of comments that someone back when I had like 800 subs. Someone commented, oh my god, I thought this was going to say 800k, like you should be, and it just really does. It sounds like I am like kissing my own arse here, but it does
No.
make my day. And it, when honestly, I got the fact that I got a message on LinkedIn of all places, and she was like, oh my god, I follow you on YouTube, I really like it. And it's just, it really does warm my heart. And I get, oh my god, it was crazy. There's a girl that likes my photos within the second of me posting them on Instagram, so I think she has my post notifications on.
Oh,
Okay, call me the Kardashian or something. And she one time she commented first. Like, you know, you see like the people on like Charlie D'Amelio's TikTok first. Someone commented on my. I honestly, you're gonna have to knock me down a few pegs. That I couldn't fit through the door after that day, and now I recognise. Sorry, that within the first like seconds of me posting, she gets that double tap, so she must have them on, and it honestly like warms my heart and it makes my day. Like, I don't understand how the people that start so they I know influencers are normal, but when you get to the stage where you are like Emma Chamberlain, she's not normal anymore. She's a millionaire, she's a Louis Vuitton ambassador. But when you look at the YouTubers that are still like, it's still incredible, like 100k, and like they get so much like love in the comments, and you think, oh, how do they mentally feel about it? I'd love to know, because for me, honestly, it's incredible. Like, does that wear off? And you think maybe it does. Obviously, them not replying or not acknowledging it is not a tell on them. It's the fact that they've got hundreds of comments that can't physically go through them all. But I'd love to know how they feel with these kind of comments, because this sort of stuff makes my like month when I get sort of stuff like this. It's crazy that someone from like the other side of the country, or even get comments where they're like, I've got a couple of video comments that they really like my accent, so they must not be English, because this is a very boring accent. And like sometimes if I get excited or over the top, it slips into a little bit of Brummie, a little bit of Black Country if I'm getting a bit too excited. So they must not be English, because like there's nothing special about my accent. So that blows my mind as well. And you can look at the percentages of like the age and the people they're from. And I just think, does this wear off? Because it's so, honestly, sorry, tangent, I don't know how I got there, but it's so like encouraging, if anything, and it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your like perception of social media has changed since you've actually like, because obviously before you were just like what you might call like a casual user, but now you're like a content creator.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I turned my Instagram onto not business, but like you know how like an Instagrammer could change it to like influencer, but I just changed it to comic book store owner, because I thought, I'm not having my Instagrams. I cannot bring myself to have like content creator or influencer, because if someone's influenced by me, God bless their soul. So I just said it's something funny, like trying to be quirky. So I put it as comic book store. But I do have to kind of watch what I say these days, because my Twitter, it's still my Twitter. Like I don't have it linked. I actually don't have it linked to my YouTube, because I would just die if no one needs to be there. No one needs to see that mess. But I think almost yes, because another thing which I can't get my head around is TikTok itself. Like, if I'm circling back, I know that's not my platform of use, but I do make TikToks as a joke almost. But then when one random video like does get that, honestly, that social media blows my mind of how genuinely any human being can get 1 million views. And if it's a video where like they look quite cool, or if it's funny, then they could get 100,000 followers from that. That platform blows my mind. And I think I'd actually be more upset about a hate comment on TikTok than on YouTube. And that's the only thing that I worry about, is like, I've had the odd random hate comment, but it's not personal. I think as soon as anything becomes personal, it will get negative for me, because I think I love social media. The most negative thing for me right now is that I'm almost addicted to it. And it's quite bad. Like if I'm trying to get an early night, it's sometimes I genuinely can't sleep, or I struggle sleeping. But other times I physically don't want to put my phone down, which is really not good. Like, I'm going to be 21 in July. There's people that have had full-time jobs since they were 18, and I'm up till 2 a.m. on Instagram or TikTok. And that's the most negative thing for me now. Obviously, I worry that it's going to get negative in terms of when I start getting personal comments about me. Like the one hate comment I got was that someone just called me brain dead. It was a hilarious comment actually, and they said like there was 2 different ones, but I think Instagram flagged them and deleted them. YouTube, because I couldn't go on them and have a look again, but I did take a photo of it somewhere on my camera roll. But they said something like, saying that blondes are brain dead, listen to them ramble or something like that. And the most ironic thing was, it was on my law video, So it's a video talking about being a law student, and she called me brain dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I chat shit, but I was like, but that was funny. Do you know what I mean? It was so bizarre because I know I'm not brain dead, hopefully, but it's when someone starts saying like I'm quite, my forehead's wham. That's the thing that wouldn't bug me because my forehead's kind of wham. There'd be something personal that they would have to really dig deep, and that would upset me then. And I think that's when it would get negative. Like you see big influencers now, big content creators, that they actually almost hate social media. Like Emma Chamberlain deactivated her Twitter. I use her as an example because I just love her, but she deactivated her Twitter. And I think I would hate for it to get like that because I do actually love social media and I think there's so much beauty in it and I think it's incredible. And just the reach, it's just bizarre. Like TikToks blow my mind. Like I'd love to read like a paper or an article on someone like talking and analysing along the same lines as the kind of power and influence that it has, genuine influence, like Doja Cat or Megan Thee Stallion, both incredible, talented artists that would have blown up anyway. But if they hadn't have had those TikTok songs that got huge, like one young girl made a TikTok dance to Say So, and now Doja Cat is one of the biggest female artists in the world. And I just think like obviously, yes, they're still talented and they still had an influence, but TikTok put them on the map. And I think it's crazy. Again, tangent, but I think, sorry, but I think YouTube has only improved my perspective on social media in terms of that I just love it. But, you know, there's susceptibility for that to decline. Yeah. And again, like I said, I am addicted to it, which isn't good at all. And I need to kind of set boundaries. But I think I'm still in a good place that social media is an incredible platform and just mind-blowing still to me.
That's interesting because I feel like my instinct would be to think that if I became a creator that my view of social media would go down because there's this whole thing that there are trolls and all this and that.
Yeah.
And that I would feel as if I had to protect myself in some ways from that. Do you ever feel like you have to like change yourself or change what you do so then you're not as vulnerable?
I think I'm not there yet. Luckily, well, I say luckily, obviously I want to get bigger. You do want to get bigger.
Yeah.
But with that, I think comes more of that perspective. Like, obviously I don't want to talk about it too much because it's, you know, a PG subject, but Olivia Neal has been under some fire lately because of some drug use accused of, because there was a photo that got leaked and it looked as though there were some illegal substances on the table. That has been blown up, as it should. I understand it's illegal. I think it was during lockdown. The lockdown thing is the biggest one for me. You're putting so many people at risk and it's very, very bad. And these people get away with it because it's almost like if she got a fine, in my head, punishable by fine means legal for the rich. So she got an £800 fine. She's sitting pretty, she's calm. But the drug thing, I almost feel bad for her, which I suppose I shouldn't. It's illegal, but she's never, ever promoted it to her audience. Her iCloud got hacked, basically. So that photo got leaked. It was just a photo of the table. They were just drinking and playing games. It just so happened that there was something on the table as well that shouldn't have been on there. But she's never promoted it. I've never, ever, you wouldn't have known. That's what's it blown up so much. All these teen viewers are like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Like, what an awful role model. They're making jokes about it. Like, now we know why she stays so skinny and all this sort of stuff. That's, I feel bad for her. She posts all the time and we've not seen anything from her or the girl she lives with or the other YouTuber that she's with a lot. There's like 3 of them. And it's just, you don't even know that it's hers, for one. It doesn't show her using it. It's not a very, you know, bad video from like a music festival that could be. She's never ever made a joke, even so much of a joke about drugs. Whereas, like, for example, Tana Mojo talks about doing drugs constantly and drinking underage. She had a whole show about Tana turning 21 when we know she's been very much involved in the influence. So that, I understand if she gets negative for that because she's an influencer, she's showing it off. Olivia Neal never once ever has made a comment about drugs and she's getting slammed. Like, I feel so bad for her. And yes, I know it's illegal, 100%. I'm not condoning it in any way or like in support of her use of it. But I do feel for her, and you just worry that stuff like that would resurface for you, for me, for you, but you know what I mean, collective for you.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that, or like if this again sounds like I'm blowing smoke up my arse. I'm quite confident in myself to say that I've always been such an accepting person, and I would never have made insensitive jokes, except for maybe like the odd, like, you know how in English people might, like, it was a culture for English people to be like, that's so gay. I hate that. And who was talking about it? I can't remember. There was like an article I read on it and it was an incredible article. But there's stuff like that some people, their careers is over. And I'm grateful in myself, and I'm proud of myself, and very open and happy with my views that wouldn't happen to me. But then there's little slips like this. You just don't know what's in your past. You don't know what you've done at a music festival. You don't know what you've done at a party. That's where it gets scary, when you get these thousands of views. So with this kind of recognition and fame does come that responsibility that these people almost, she has this kind of extra layer of influence, which if she's doing substances in her own time, she can't do that now, because what if her iCloud gets hacked? What if her privacy gets invaded? And it's more nuanced things like that than hate comments that scares me, I think. But then again, I don't know. It's weird. That's a hard question. I think it's not happened to me yet, and I've not had to change myself yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not had to change my lifestyle yet. There's things that people aren't going to like in every walk of life, but I'm not there yet. And I think that is scary, actually, of what can happen. Seeing this girl get absolutely slandered for things that could be quite common, especially, I don't know what it's like she's not at uni, I suppose, but it's weird that you get slammed for everything, everything. And that's what's scary, I think, is what happens if you don't know. It's because I'm quite open about things, and there's some people that keep their private life so private that they don't get in any scandals. But I kind of like that lack of barrier in what I say, and I think you just worry that can get spun.
I feel like the whole thing links in with cancel culture, and that you could say one thing to somebody in like 2008 and then it comes back, and even if you were like 10 at the time or something ridiculous, that it can almost destroy your entire career. And we saw that. You mentioned Jack Maynard and those two earlier.
We could be on a celeb, like what?
Yeah. Despite the fact he'd apologized and all that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that what he did was right, but it's definitely, if you're in any sort of the public eye with social media, it is something that in this day and age you do have to think about, definitely.
And I think being held accountable is so important, and I'm so passionate about centering people. Like, for example, I couldn't speak about if someone had made like a racially insensitive comment. That's not my place to forgive, and it's not my place to comment on it at all. But I know that I would never be in that position, which is a good thing. But it's almost like, don't applaud a fish for swimming. But there's people that have, like, a TikToker was dancing and she was like throwing it back to a man singing the Quran. And oh my God, very bad. She didn't know it was the Quran, but Jesus, you just think, just don't even, like, it was obviously not English, and it was in that kind of worship style of singing. You kind of knew that it was a religious piece of music, and she threw it back to the Quran, and she got slammed for it. But then there was people, that looked like us three saying, "We forgive you, don't worry." And you think, it's not your place to forgive her for disrespecting the Muslim community. And that's my biggest fear, that if I ever accidentally say something that would offend a community, that, like, because obviously I'm so lucky that I look how I look, I'm privileged, I have a huge amount of privilege that comes with being white, and I just think, you just worry, I just would die if I ever offended people. But then it's being held accountable, and I think people get cancelled for the right reasons. But then also there are things, there's a fine line between kind of cancelling and educating. And it just depends on where you are at what time. Like, for example, Charlie D'Amelio, there was a hashtag going around, like, here for Charlie. I was actually meant to be for Charlie XCX, but it was flooded by Charlie D'Amelio supporters. And I felt so embarrassed for her, because mainstream Twitter was shitting all over, like, imagine being so self-centered, you think it's about you. And she's just a 16-year-old girl that saw her supporters being there for her, and oh my God, the secondhand, like, embarrassment for her. And I just think some people are so mean, and that was not even a bad thing, and she's been, like, globally just shat on, and it wasn't even a bad thing. It's just so weird. Like, you've just got to keep your toe in line constantly. But I think the biggest thing for me, if I do something stupid and if in the future I ever got cancelled for something, like, for example, the Olivia Neal thing, you got to take it with a pinch of salt. It's almost what you get yourself into. But for me, the fear is of ever offending a community. I would just die. I'd hate that. But you just got to be a good person, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But cancel culture is a kettle of fish that kind of worms. That one is. It's crazy.
Definitely a big difference between the sort of Olivia Neal thing, where it's bad because of the situation, but it's not necessarily offensive.
I know, and she's just
actively offensive.
She's an 18-year-old girl. She's got this newfound wealth. She's living in London, and she's not promoted it. That's the thing for me. Then again, you look at Charlie. She's got 100 million TikTok followers. So you've just got triple, quadruple the pressure. So, it is relative. It's so relative. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think something that's come up recently is, which is kind of related to cancel culture, is all of these influencers in Dubai. And I know that Amber Rose Gill, she lost like 30,000 30,000 Instagram followers in like 2 weeks or something. And there's been a massive trend in influencers being in Dubai and then losing all their followers despite saying, oh, well, it's my essential work trip, I need to be here to work, and all that sort of thing.
I almost agree. I haven't unfollowed anyone, which is probably maybe these people should be deplatformed, but I do actually agree with the people criticizing them. I think, man, it's so out of touch to be in Dua Lipa even. Oh my God, I love Dua Lipa. If I'm in the kitchen, it's Alexa, play Dua Lipa. Have I just set her off? No. But either way, she's like so out of touch posting these photos with her gorgeous Hadid boyfriend in these exotic places. And you just think, read the room. Same with these influencers. If you're gonna, and it is illegal almost, because is it work? I don't know. I mean, I understand if it's a brand trip, but I just think you can turn it down. It's a shame, but that's what you've got to have, the almost moral compass to turn it down. And if you don't, then don't post about it. But then if you're there to work, it's, oh my God, it's a catch-22. But I don't think they're the victim in this. I don't agree that it's like, I haven't watched it yet, but I know a girl went on Good Morning Britain, didn't she? And she's argued the case. And I haven't watched it yet, but I already think I'm going to disagree. I'm obviously not going to speak on it. I haven't watched it. I don't want to, make an opinion on something I've not watched. But already, I just think it is out of touch. And I think, what are your guys' opinions on it as like consumers as well? Because I'm still a consumer of it. I'm not on the level of them. But I just think, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, well, I watched the this morning interview that
this morning, is it?
Yeah, or you might be right. I've got it written down as this morning, but I'm not 100% sure. And this influencer was saying that the role of influencers in society was to motivate people, and I just found it kind of made me feel uncomfortable that she thought that in order to motivate people in the UK, you had to be sat on a beach drinking a pina colada.
If you can't motivate from your bed, then are you as motivating as you think you are?
Yeah.
I live vicariously through Dua Lipa's photos, because I think it's almost a little teeny bit different, almost, and I'm not defending a billionaire, but she's a celebrity that I think has a house out there. And I think she's gone to, or it's Anwar's house, which is her boyfriend. And I think it's almost out of touch. But what about people that live in Santorini? What, are they not allowed to post photos? Almost I have a little bit of leeway for Dua Lipa. That's probably because I enjoy the content. Like, she's not posting like Instagram with her tummy tea in a Dubai hut. She's just posting selfies, and it just so happens that she's gorgeously tanned. And I almost live vicariously through that. But I have not once been motivated by any of these influencers in Dubai. That's an interesting thing that she said. How did she justify that? How did she run with that?
She just kept saying that she has to motivate people, and how can she motivate people if she's in lockdown,
but we're also in lockdown, so if anything it's less motivating being in Dubai because we're not there.
Exactly. And she also kind of undermined her point by saying that she was lucky enough to be able to do her job anywhere, because this influencer in particular is like a personal trainer or like a fitness influencer, and she was like, oh yeah, I can do my job anywhere, but I have to go to Dubai to motivate people. And
you can do it anywhere, but you can't do it in your back garden. Sorry.
And I may be slightly misquoting her, but it's just, that's the general impression that she gave me, at least. And I was just like, right.
I just think
if we've almost had to, I hate to say lose a year, because it's not, and I think, but we've had to put a humongous pause on our years, and it may be for the next 2 more years. We might have had to do this for 3 years, and I think it's almost demotivating to see these people that don't have to because they've got money and a platform. And I understand she might think, oh, but you can do it too. The industry is so saturated. Like, we're not going to be able to build a platform, earn enough to then go jet setting in a pandemic. It's very strange way to look at it, and I don't want to at all like slander them, because clearly it's legal, or else they wouldn't be there. It's obviously legal because they're there for work, but is it moral? Like, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's moral. It's a weird one, I think. Do they not have many cases in Dubai? Because it seems to be seems to be the main one.
Well, Dubai have now actually, I think because of an influx of people coming in from other places, they've had to close all of their bars and all those sort of things. Because there's been like a huge influx recently. But I think at the beginning it wasn't as bad. Yeah.
I think people even going on holidays in the summer when we had a little bit of a bit of hope. It was legal, but I personally wouldn't have wanted to. And I think that was difficult, because almost actually in the same breath, watching Olivia Neal again, she went to Ibiza, and I enjoyed those videos, and it was actually very good content. But then if I saw like Joe blogs from high school, in the south of France, in my head maybe I'd have been a bit like, oh. But then again, that's my own judging and projecting, maybe jealousy. But that almost shows that influencers maybe do get a bit of a free pass, because even in my head I had to kind of stop myself, like, okay, you can't do one thing for one. Just because you get to watch a pretty girl frolicking around in Ibiza doesn't mean you can, mentally judge that person for being in Zante. Do you know, I think, yeah, holidays is a weird one in the pandemic. I feel like you don't want to be doom and gloom, but the average Joe can't just jet off. So I just think it is a bit insensitive at the end of the day, I think, isn't it? It's not motivating. I don't think it's motivating. I'll say that. No, not us doing our law degree. Like, yes, maybe we can do sit-ups in Dubai. Let's crack on. I just don't think it's quite achieving the job that maybe that's the thing. Maybe she thought it would, which is a shame, and bless her. But yeah,
seems like an excuse.
Yeah, she was brave to go on. Was it with Piers Morgan as well?
I think it was with Holly and Phil.
Yeah, see, at least, I mean, I think she was brave to go on and try and back that case, because I
huge backlash. She's now, since I tried to look her up after I watched the interview, and she's actually put her Instagram on private.
Oh no, see, that almost makes me feel bad, but you are setting yourself up for it massively.
Yeah, and also if she's there for work and now she's put her Instagram on private, in my eyes, like, this is my opinion, but in my eyes that's just BS, you know what I mean? Like,
that's not a good look.
It completely undermines everything.
Yeah, and I understand, you got to prioritise your mental health, and if she's getting slammed, then my heart goes out to her for that, because I know for a fact that if it gets into football Twitter category or I'm just bait comment section, these people are ruthless. These, like, football Twitter, these young lads will tear you a new one. Like, oh, God forbid if I ever end up on there. I just pray for my soul if I ever end up on there, because these people do get personal, and I think she deserves a backlash on her argument and what she's doing out there. But that's when it does get personal, I do feel bad for people. But and I think you open yourself up to a certain amount of criticism, but when it gets really nasty, I do feel bad, regardless of what you've done. I think I feel bad massively. Yeah,
it's a difficult one, because you are putting yourself under the spotlight, going into the sort of trying to be an influencer and put content out there. You are opening yourself up to the possibility that negativity is going to eventually come.
And especially if you're an influencer, you have to by default be a role model. That's unfortunately that's the thing that people have been at with Olivia Neal. Like, what sort of a role model is this? But she didn't intend for people to see that side of her, as if it's a side. But you know what I mean? That pastime, that wasn't intended to be seen. So other than that, she could be a good role model. Obviously, these people that are almost breaking lockdown, it's not a positive influence, which is, I agree with you there, that that's what they're setting themselves up for, and that's what they should expect. If they're going to be an influencer, they need to positively influence, and this isn't very positive at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it goes back to what you said before. You have to be the right have the right sort of personality for it in the first place. You can't have two separate lives and hide what you want to hide, because eventually it's something's going to crop up and cause trouble. So so it's good the way you treat it. Like you were saying, you like having the lack of a barrier there. So you're just quite open anyway. So that's why you feel like people can find whatever I put out there. I'm not going to change or stop putting me out
Definitely.
there because you're comfortable with the fact that you're not going to offend anyone, or at least not purposefully.
Yeah, and I think that's a blessing and a curse, because let's say, you know, obviously it'd be incredible if I did, you know, get to something like 5k or something, or 10, whatever. But then again, that means that 10,000 people are going to know what prescription I'm on, like little things like that. It's like you've got a kind of, maybe then it will be inevitable that I'll have to set barriers. But I like the moment where we're at, because I think I think that helps the growth, and it helps people get to know me. And that's what I love about any of my favorite content creators, or even celebrities that go on live. It makes you feel like you know them more. And that's why I love Emma Chamberlain. I love her podcast and her videos, because it genuinely feels like I'm going along with her to like what she's doing in the day. And I never want to lose that, because it can be lost in all the fame and the glory. But that's, you know, that's not where I'm going to be. I think I'll still be on the humble kind of element, but that's why it is a blessing and a curse, kind of keeping the barriers to a minimum, because I want the relationship to be raw between the viewers and me. Yeah. But then I obviously, you know, you got where do you draw the line, and where can that bite me in the ass in the future? Who knows? It's cool to just get straight into it, and I love how like you guys are premising it. No, honestly, thank you so much. It's been so cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Generation Internet. Find us on social media at Generation Internet, and you can listen to more episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
If you would like to find out more about Lily, you can search Lily Maria on YouTube, where you will find links to all her social medias.